Circled around, and I felt I wasn't doing anything. So I stood there with a peace sign up, number 5018 of the Quebec security, ran up on me, and I was yelling, "I will not resist and I'll go in peace." Even though I did not do anything, I was in fear for my life.
We had to drive to Fredericton and pick him up. And Jordy, I can remember Jordy saying, my brother, and I just love him," or whatever. And I said, "That'll always stay with Ken and I." Joel's more outgoing and talkative. Jordy's quiet, but they're very, very close. They look after one another, and that's all Ken and I have ever wanted. We brought him home. He was only 2 months old, and he got to know all of the family, and they all loved him. He learned how to hunt and fish with his dad. And he loved it. There's one particular picture of him looking up at his father that I just cherish. So when I look back at the pictures, I wonder where the time has gone. And the funny little notes, you know. I kept some of them, like I'm snowboarding at Graham's up the hill. I left at 6:10, Joel McPherson, with a heart underneath. Just about every one of these pictures from the time he was a baby have a big smile on his face, and that's what I want to see again. I want to see that happiness, that spirit. I want to see it back again. Joel lost that when he went to Quebec. Whatever happened, you know, he just was not the same when he came home.
He worked both in Cape Cod and in California in very affluent areas, and he was treated extremely well by the Americans. And you know, we hear a lot of anti or racism stories about coming out of America, but Joel was treated extremely well there. And then for him to come home to Canada and to be treated the way he was in Quebec, it's appalling.
I'd like to see this over for Joel. I really would. I'd like to see him get on with his life. He wants to come back to the peninsula. He's helping build a house at the top of the hill, a squared log home. He loves this place. But it's hard to get on with your life when you have this nagging at you day in and day out. Just not knowing, you know, and even with us not knowing, you know, it just, when the phone call came today and they said, well, you know, you're going to have to wait until fall again, I thought, this is ridiculous. It'll be over 2.5 years. 2001, it's 2003.
We just decided that it didn't seem like anybody in Saint John was interested in the FTAA and the harmful effects that it might have. So we thought that if nobody else was going to go up to Quebec City, we'd better go up ourselves and be a part of this, because I think it's really important that everybody who is opposed to it and who is opposed to having corporations take precedence over the rights of ordinary people, I think it's important for everybody who opposes that to go up there and make a stand and make their voices known. So about 15 of us went up to Quebec City.
He's interested in what's going on in the world. He knows more about globalization and free trade, and I couldn't be any prouder.
He has always been taught to stand up for his basic rights, and when he saw them infringed on in the way that they were, it really disillusioned him. The system that we believed that was there to protect and to provide for him was not there to support him in those times.
The only time I really saw Joel upset was after this Quebec thing. Ken and Joel and I sat down to talk, and when he started to talk about what happened, his voice started to get a little bit higher and he got a little bit louder, and then he stopped right in the middle of it and he said, "Oh my God," he said, I'm raising my voice at two people that I love most in the world. He said, you know, what's happening to me? He said, this is not me. And he got up and he hugged his father, and then he hugged me.
But overall, it's been a challenging 2 years, but he's really turned it into a productive time.
He's put on a lot of public speaking.
Responsibility. Take
At schools, on human rights, on discrimination, and they've been wonderful. And they've been really well done, because he's been asked back several times. Before my mom passed away, he decided to take a video camera and go around and videotape every grandchild, every great-grandchild of hers, and they all wished her a Merry Christmas. And then he did a little rap song.
Now all of us, we really love you, and this we're going to prove. You brought joy to our life. In all that we do, you bring us up and help us up, all in experience too. I know the Lord and Savior is embedded in you. You've seen us grow and help us stand. You're always reaching out your hand. You made all the girls women, and you made me a man. I wish you well and hope the best. You're in the hospital, so rest. You taught me what I know, so I'll always pass the test. And Nanny Walsh, you're my queen. Your love is what I fiend. Always kept it real. You remained stern but never mean. It's Christmas time and time to shine with our family shit in mind. I know I'm rapping fast, but this tape you can rewind. So from all of the family and all of us kids, we appreciate your spirit, Nanny. You taught us love before the quid. So from all of us family and all of us quiz, we appreciate your spirit. You taught us to love before the quid. I love you, girl.
Joel's entire character, personality, history doesn't add up to somebody that would cause problems that such as what he was charged with in Quebec. The whole thing doesn't add up.
We've had a lot of backing from a lot of good people and a lot of very understanding people. The Peninsula people, that the night that they had Joel's benefit, my mother had passed away the day before. But they went ahead with the benefit, and it was just, I was able to come up when Joel gave his thank you, and I was just so pleased. I'm just so happy that I live here and have the backing of people like the Raging Grannies.
We have to point out that the most support we've got from any group has been from the Council of Canadians in Saint John and the surrounding area. These people have been terrific. They've been very supportive, organized benefits, and have been helpful in immeasurable ways.
This is a politically correct song. It might be a little too harsh for some of you out there, but these words need to be said. We need to damn the man. We need to take a stand. We need to fight to protect our holy land. See, it can be done, united hand in hand. Instead of the monsters of mind, blinded by greed, we got the TVs and the teachers that be planting the seed. We got the lifestyles of the rich and famous, but we got death piles of the poor and nameless. See our body and minds into a hole. The man he raped and then he stole. So pressed, oppressed, he has no soul. We're puppets played in the game. Expendable puppets with no mind and no name. About to cap the strings and set us free. Must be done by you and me, but it can't be done if we beg a plea. So contest the rest, he'll get no rest. He's gonna feel my Louis explode in his chest, cause I'm coming at you live and true, and I'm gonna leave your ass all black and blue. We got the screams and moans and broken bones, screeching tires, blood and stones. See, death before dishonor I once was told, and I'm gonna follow that shit when I'm young and old, cause I'm a man and I will stand with the guns and knives, or hand to hand. You wanna step to me? Then bring it, G, and I'm gonna tap your ass with my fist in me. Now there goes round one, I'm gonna start round two. I'm gonna finish you off, you're freaking through. I'm gonna finish fast now, here I go. FDAA, TKO. No way, every way, today. Say no to the FDAA. Okay, I love you. One love, one blood, one nation, my brother and sisters. I love you, Mom.
I worked as a game warden for a number of years in the province of New Brunswick, and we were always taught to respect the people that we encountered, whatever they were doing, and to treat them with respect. But what I saw in the surveillance tapes was a clear abuse of authority, and is not acceptable in Canada.
I felt I wasn't doing anything, So I had stood there with the peace sign up. Number 5018 of the Quebec security ran up on me, and I was yelling, "I will not resist and I'll go in peace." Even though I did not do anything, I was in fear for my life because I had seen a 19-year-old girl point blank range with a tear gas gun. Not the ones that released the shells, the ones that just dropped the shells. Point blank range, shot her right in her face, tear gas and stuff went all over. But unfortunately, it threw me to the ground, dribbled my head off the pavement like it was a basketball with his knee in my back. When I was getting up and being dragged away, I was saying, "Why am I being arrested? What am I being taken away for? Will somebody please talk to me?" And number 5018 and the other arresting officer, number 7958, said to me that I am not a real Canadian and he does not speak my effing English. I was being recorded and being filmed, and he said to number 7958 that he would have been kicking me in the head if the cameras had not been there. When I was brought to the jail, they had made me remove everything I owned except for my pants and my shirt. They took me in, although my clothes were covered in tear gas, and I was going in, and everybody else who I was in there with had access to a shower and the sweats that the prison allows you, and shoes. Unfortunately, they did not let me get a shower. They would not give me any clothes, and they did not give me shoes, although my feet were cut, and they noted this when I went in, that I had cuts on my feet, and they made me walk around for 74 hours without shoes, without a shower, and without access to proper clothing. I had to remain in this tear gas covered clothes. Then, top it all off, they have these bands which they use for handcuffs. It was tied around, or sealed around with my number on it. An officer had coming up inside the prison, grabbed it, and jerked it as tight as he could. And I was in fear of reprisal for taking this off, so I had to keep it serrated around my arm for 3 days, cutting off the circulation while my hand was changing colors. And as I told the guards, for those 74 hours, nothing was done. I finally, the day I got in there, he said that they'd call me a lawyer. I thought maybe I might have some rights. They called me a lawyer, which they said was a lawyer. It was a gentleman who did not speak English. The only thing he could tell me was, "Do not answer questions." And that was it. That was the only contact. I do not know who it was. They would not allow me another phone call. They took me to a cell, put me in a cell with 5 other guys who were arrested from charges for deadly weapons for 2 AA batteries, inciting a riot for sitting there and playing his drums and singing. The charges were ludicrous. We were in a cell 10 feet by 8 feet with 1 bed with 5 guys. 22 hours, all we had to eat was a little juice container and a muffin. The window in our jail cell would not open. We had no soap to wash ourselves after we used the facilities, but luckily there was a sense of unity and solidarity in my cell. We were able to sing, we were able to unite, we meditated together to keep spirits up. The juice containers which we had, which was a very beautiful thing, they had tinfoil on the top. We figured, took the tinfoil off, were able to scratch in checkered and chess tables and actually make the figures to play while we were in jail. We unrolled toilet paper and twisted it and braided it together, made a rope, a good size rope, and very strong, which we're able to swing back from the cell doors, from cell to cell, to pass people if anything needed anything, if we had an extra milk, or if they had an extra milk when we actually did get some milk. Just anything, and the unity we had, it was a very, very beautiful thing. And after I was in jail for, I went in Saturday, and Monday I had finally got to call my parents, and got to call a lawyer, and I talked to my parents, and I don't know if anybody can actually picture it, but the thing that killed my spirit the most, and which I think anybody could relate to, was calling your mom up, being locked in jail with your rights taken away, the beating and abuse which I have seen and I had to go through myself, and having my mom have no power at all. When she called up, they wouldn't give her any information. They told her I was released. They told her they couldn't do nothing. Who had the guns? Who had the tear gas? Who had the $5,000 riot gear? Who had the hoses? Who came outside the fence? Who shot the tear gas? Who beat people? Who used rubber bullets? Who was spraying people down? And who were the people running in fear of their lives? We need to change this world which we're living in and do exactly creating heaven on earth. Because what shall it benefit the man to gain the whole world if he loses his only soul?
I'm sorry to say that the Human Rights Commission, both Quebec, New Brunswick, and Ottawa, have been virtually of no use or no help up to this point, as far as looking into the discrimination that Joel suffered in Quebec at the hands of the Sûreté and the police.